Well, good morning, guys. It's the next morning after our big old flood for the last 2 days. And this morning I'm gonna cook up something. I've tried this once before and it was on one of my videos called breakfast boats, I called them. And I said next time I done it I was gonna do it in a small skillet, and I guess it'd be more like a breakfast pizza. But I got some homemade pork sausage here. I got my little 8 or 10 skillet here greased up pretty good. We're gonna go in with that pork sausage and we're gonna smash her down. We're gonna try to make it to where it ain't too thick and kind of folds up the edges. And I may take a bowl and sit in there in just a minute and press down on it. And then we're gonna layer in us some potatoes, cheese, and egg, and see how this turns out in the skillet this time. The little breakfast boats turned out good, but they just harder to do in them cupcake tins. That's what gave me the idea of trying it in this skillet. So we're gonna basically be like a sausage, potato, cheese, and egg pizza is what I'm gonna call it. Maybe this is Papaw's breakfast pizza. That'd be a good name for it, ain't it? I got the oven preheating over there to, I think, 375. You don't want it too thick because you want your sausage to cook fast as your eggs is gonna cook. That may not be pretty, but hey, I ate a Chicago pizza here a while back and it wasn't pretty at all, but that was one of the best tasting pizzas I've ever eaten. Now, I may not have done enough potatoes. I just took one potato and put it in the microwave and softened it up. You could actually use mashed potatoes in this. That's going to be enough to get a good potato bite out of each bite. Next we're going to crack us up. I don't know how many eggs. I ain't scrambling them up. We're just going to dump them right on top like so. Looks like it's going to be 5 eggs. I think I'm going to put 6 in there. Round the edges there out so the egg will kind of come on out to the edge. Kind of scoop them around. Look at there. There's 5 around the outside and 1 in the center. Wash my hands again. I ain't really determined if it's better to put the cheese on now or wait till it cooks a little bit, but what I'm going to do is put some on now. It'll just cook in the eggs, all it'll do. And then we may sprinkle some more on top before we get it out. So that is what we're going in the oven with. We're going in the oven with it, and when it cooks, my little man coach is going to be here and we're going to get it out and we're going to test that out for y'all. Good morning, Coachy.
Good morning.
He got here right while Papaw was cooking that breakfast pizza this morning.
Oh.
Huh?
I said, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. You think it's ready?
I think it is.
You think it is?
Well, it's not ready yet.
Not ready yet? Well, let's open it up and see.
I'm going to open it
Hold
up.
on. Watch out, it's going to be hot when you open it. Stand back. Feel that heat.
Hold on.
I think it's done.
Oh no.
Look at there, guys. A good old sausage, egg, potato, and cheese. Papaw's pizza. What do you think?
Good.
Alright, guys, we're going to set it here and let it rest just a minute and cool off a bit. And then me and Coaching's going to eat us a piece of this pizza. You gonna try a piece of this pizza coating? You think it's gonna be good?
I think it is.
All right. See, the sausage has a lot of fat in it. You gonna come try it with me?
What chicken fries?
Well, I'll get you some chicken fries if you don't like this. Guys, he don't know about this. He loves scrambled eggs. But that's sausage. You love sausage and you love eggs. You can pick it up and take a bite just like that.
Yeah, I have a with, I guess.
Huh?
I can
You don't want it? Alright, that's okay.
I'm eating some chicken fries now.
I will in just a little bit. So guys, this turns out alright. I said this is only the second time I've done it. First time I done it in the little cupcake pans. This sausage here seemed to have a lot more fat in it. This is homemade sausage here. Friend of mine, old Waddell down the road, brought this to me. But it's got a lot more fat in it than that sausage I used before, but still turns out great. What are you doing, monkey? I gotta eat my breakfast with a monkey on my back. But last night, I cooked up my chicken that I told y'all the day before I was gonna cook last night. And it's gonna be at the end of this video. But I'm gonna go on and tell y'all my cameraman messed up, my pepper messed up. What you gonna eat, some peppermint this morning? Alright, I'm back to finish my breakfast, guys. I got him pacified in there. He don't want to eat this breakfast. I had to get him something else to eat, so he'd eat breakfast this morning. But after I finish eating my breakfast, we're going to go out and check the garden after a while. The wind is blowing strong this morning. We ain't supposed to get no more rain, but it's just cloudy and windy. I'm curious about my garden out there. 55 degrees this morning, so that ain't doing none of that stuff no good after all that rain and then the cold. But at the end of this video, I'm gonna show y'all, last night I cooked that chicken that I was telling y'all I was gonna cook from the last video. But I messed up on my camera here, and it was recording in fast mode when I was preparing the chicken. And then after I got it prepared, when I stopped at a point and it set back up. So what I was cooking was an oven baked chicken with an apple stuffed in it. It's got an apple stuffed in it, garlic, onion. What else I put? A streak of rosemary in the inside, and then around the outside was cut up potatoes with some onion and garlic laying out there and rosemary. And the potatoes was coated in olive oil and seasoned, salt and pepper. The chicken I basted with butter, salt and peppered it good, put it in the oven 400 degrees, and I should have checked it at 1 hour. I waited an hour and a half, and y'all see that at the end. Still turned out great. But that video will be at the end here, but I just want to let y'all know that what I was cooking was a apple stuffed baked chicken. It comes out crispy on the outside like a rotisserie chicken and juicy in the middle. So after I eat my breakfast, we're going to go out to the garden here, take a look, and then y'all see the chicken cooking video. And I ended up eating supper by myself because my wife worked late. So I ate my own little chicken, and by the time she come in, I was just about in the bed. Well guys, the potatoes is still standing up good. Y'all can see the wind is getting it today, which is what we need after all this rain to help try to dry some of this ground out. My watermelons, some of them standing up good, some of them not so good. Watermelons and cantaloupes. And these are some that I started from seed, had just sprouted up. So it'll take a couple of days to tell what's going to become of them. They're looking all right now. But the two leg plants right there look horrible. They don't like these cool nights, and like I said, it's 55 today. The last tomato plants I've done there, they looking all right. Spaghetti squash is looking all right. The onions, this is the DP sweets. You can see the rain and the wind got them pretty stomped down. The confetti bell peppers is looking all right. We just need to hurry up and get some sun and warm them back up. The tropical sunset here in my little homemade hydroponic bucket is still looking all right. I planted one cucumber there, gonna try to let it grow and hang down. It ain't looking so good right now. Spinach over here is looking pretty good. Then we got our elephant garlic. It still looks all right. Some of it's starting to go to make bulbs on the end. The Catarina cabbage over here in this bed ain't doing good at all. I mean, it looks good, but that should have been a lot bigger size cabbage. The carrots, I know I got carrots that's gonna need to be harvested, but I ain't doing it today and it's sopping wet. But look how the wind broke these Vidalia variety onions over. These poor onions ain't gonna do nothing. They done went through the 9-degree freeze. I almost took these out, but they look terrible. And now, they done going through the storm, got them broke over. But y'all see, they ain't making no good bulbs at all. They probably just gonna get pulled up, thrown away. Because them's the same age as the DP sweets was overwintered onions. So they should already have some bigger bulbs than that. Zucchini squash, it ain't looking too bad. It's just dirty from all the rain and beat the soil all up on them. They stood back up better than I figured. There's a couple of green egg squash. I think it's going to be alright. They just need some sunshine and some heat. Prism kale, it just keeps going and going. But some of it's starting to make seed heads. And guys, that kind of stuff there is what confuses me. That there is making seed heads, and we ain't even had no hot temperatures. A couple days it got in the 80s, a few days in the 70s, but the nights have still been cool. And I ain't never had this to seed that fast. But then again, this was planted This has been here since spring a year ago. My sweet corn is doing all right. Didn't get beat down. I guess as far as beat down, just the onions has got the worst of it. Then I got some onions that I'd planted this spring. Sugar snap peas, they just now getting big enough to start making some blooms here to get us some peas growing. Now I had some garlic, actually from the grocery store, I planted in there. And it come up and done got about that tall, but it just done died away. I don't know if I was over watering it or it wasn't getting enough water. You can see some of my broccoli there is still laid over, 2 or 3 of them. Maybe they'll stand back up. This is some late amazing cauliflower. Again, ain't doing good because it was all planted at the same time, and you see just how them little bitty ones, and you ain't got but 3 of them growing. Right there, I just planted some pinto bean seeds in there. I don't see but 2 or 3 of them that's popped right now, but I don't even know if y'all can see them. They're so covered up with the soil from all the hard rain. Some more of them's popping though. May have to replant that. I ain't never grew pinto beans, and that ain't gonna be enough for nothing, but I just want to plant something in that bed. And we got Savannah mustards on that side and some more spinach on this side. But like I was telling y'all yesterday, during the rain, the pepper plants ain't looking so good, because they don't like these cool nights. But they standing up, they ain't beat down. My rattlesnake green beans I planted is starting to come up on both sides. This here's the Florida 91 tomato blooming. Got a couple little tomatoes on there. I have to get out here with my broom and clean this. I don't like my floor looking this dirty after all that rain. It looked like I ended up not getting no tomatoes broke off. But I gotta get out here and start getting some of these lower limbs off and some of these lower suckers off. Y'all seen me when I planted these are planted deep. So as the tomato grows, I cut these off that's hanging down here. See, they just got soil all over them, and that ain't good for tomatoes. But during all that rain, they almost had all the tomatoes touching the ground. I didn't get a good sprout on these rattlesnakes. There's 3, and then it's a skip, and then there's 2. I have to replant right here. I come out here yesterday and refreshed my nutrients up, and I'm using Master Blend tomato formula, even in all them hydroponic buckets. But man, look at them tomato stalks. It's making them tomatoes. I'm using tomato formula, so it ain't supposed to be overpowered with nitrogen. So it ought to grow some tomatoes. It ain't supposed to just grow a plant. Again, the eggplant, they just look yellow and terrible, even the ones in the ground and the ones in the hydroponic. just don't like these cold nights. They worse than the peppers, because that's the Hosinator bell pepper. And then again, that's the confetti bell pepper. Y'all see I had to still got the plug in these because these ain't started making roots down into the water yet. That's the cucumber. So I guess I fared out pretty well. Looks like mainly just the onions is broke over. That's some, I don't know what variety, but that's cabbage I just bought at the corner market and planted in the ground there, and y'all see how it's growing. But my Catarina cabbage ain't growing this year. Another thing didn't handle all this water is this celery. Because y'all got to remember, if you look back at some of my other videos, it ain't been a week ago we got like 3 inches hard fast rain. A week before that, 3 inches of hard, I'm talking about hard flooding rains. So the garden has been taking a beating. But one thing I'm going to have this year is blackberries. Look how loaded they are this year. Y'all can see that, but they are loaded down. This will be my first year. I think this is the 3rd year with this plant. This will be my first year to have a bunch of blackberries, but they are loaded. Loaded, loaded. Them as loaded as the muscadines were last year. Summer dance cucumbers over here, they looking good. For what they've been through now. They don't look what I want them to look like, but for what we've been through, they're looking good. And a few strawberry plants. I said if these strawberries didn't make it here on their own, I wasn't trying to grow strawberries no more. But them there's, actually the strawberry plants is kind of, looks real good. Got good color and all of them, making strawberries. They actually look better than most other stuff. The muscadines is just now starting to bud out and make leaves, which they always the last thing to bud out, even behind the pecan trees. So guys, there's y'all just a quick look at the garden. This is my, finally walked out here so I could look at it and check things out. Y'all can see way over there the water's going down, but slowly. Yesterday it was up around the bog goal over there. So it is going down. I just hate wet, nasty. I couldn't live in a rainforest. I hate all this when everything's wet and nasty. As soon as this gets dry, I'm gonna get my blower. I had never got this really cleaned off from planting with all the dirt on it. As soon as it gets dry, I'll get all that blowed off and replant some seeds that's not coming up. Because all them empty spots, which some of them's come up we didn't look at, all them empty spots I planted zipper cream peas. And this whole row right here is zipper cream peas. And they spaced out, it ain't like a whole row. I just planted them to have something to plant in them holes. This row out here is going to be my okra. I planted it, but I have to replant that again. I knew it was too early when I planted the okra. Well, I actually knew it was too early when I planted them peppers out, but I knew peppers, even in cold weather, they won't go to growing and thriving. They just sit there at a standstill until it starts warming up. But okra, I knew that was too early, but I'll reseed them holes there once. See what them there's gonna do that is popping up. Another bed over here. This here's some of this new squash that I got from Burpee. I finally got some to start from them seeds. It's supposed to be a squash that grows upright. So I can just tie a string from the top of this and yellow squash that grows upright, called criminal. Try that this year. But I don't know what's going on with me this year. But there's some more asperbrock. It's doing all right. But there's a little thing of lettuce that come out of the greenhouse, which I know the rain's got it beat down now. But I tried starting lettuce in some of these beds 4 or 5 times. And I just can't grow lettuce this year, this spring. But I've told y'all before, there's been years I could grow, just example, yellow squash more than you could keep picked. Next year couldn't keep things alive. So it's like one year something thrives and something dies. Next year that may thrive and something else may die. I guess that's part of gardening though. So that is what we're going to be going into the oven with as soon as it preheats to 425. So while the oven's preheating real quick, because my helper, which is me, my cameraman, which is me, what you call them, sous chefs? My sous chef forgot to turn the oven on. He didn't know what he was doing. So let's walk out there, in case you are a viewer that didn't see the last video. And let's go show y'all what I'm living on now with this 10-inch ring. Now the last video y'all seen was only filmed about 12 hours difference. Now we in the PM. The water did come up even more. I just hope it goes down fast and not drown my fig trees. That's why I had to plant them trees I plant out there in that bush up on little knolls. But this morning it was still out here to the, just edging up on the dirt pile. Now you can see it's almost all the way around coating this dirt pile. But the chicken pen was high enough it didn't get up in it. And I ain't gonna walk way down there. But my grow out pen way down yonder, if I wouldn't have got them roosters out yesterday and done some chicken rotating, them out there would be wading in water. Cause the grow out pen's about 3 or 4 inches in water. Now that's the deepest I've ever seen it. My wife said one time while I was off working, because I'd stayed gone there for several years, she said one time it got this deep. But today's the deepest I've ever seen it in my backyard. Now that can happen just like that and not be 10 inches of rain. It has to do with how fast the rain falls in a short period of time and how many beavers has got Kowal Creek stopped up south of me. Now the oven's just about to be being preheated, and when you're doing this, that's one thing you don't want to do is go in with it before your oven is good and hot and preheated if you're trying to get that crisp on here. Now about an hour and a half, I open the door and I check it with my thermometer because we're shooting for that 165 internal degrees. But if you start getting that look like you're getting too browner than you want, you can always lay a piece of tin foil on it and finish cooking it until your temperature in the inside gets right. But before we stick this in the oven, some of you wondering about that banana nut bread that was made last night for me, but a couple nights ago for y'all watching this video. Well, between me and my wife last night and then me being home on a rainy day, I done eat about, what is that, about 30% of it. That's just one of our easy favorite little recipes to throw together, a banana nut bread, or this is actually just a banana bread. We didn't even put no pecans in it. But I thought about that a while ago, that some of you were probably wondering about that. So now we finished get our chicken stuck in the oven. And I actually want this rack not dead in the center. I'd rather have it on the lower portion, but not all the way down. Now I check back in on that. Well, I'll steady be peeking through the glass on it, but I'll check back and check the temperature in about an hour and a half. Alright guys, it's been an hour and a half, so I'm finna check the temperature. Ooh, look at the juice come out of that. Yeah, that's 180, and that's 190. Let me stick it back here in that thigh. Oh yeah, we way over. I could have probably done an hour at that 425. Let me get this out. And there you go guys. That is hard crispy. Now while that was cooking, I run outside and checked on my chickens and stuff again. Then I got me a good old bath. But does that not turn out beautiful? But when you get it out of the oven, you don't want to tear right into it. You want to let it rest for at least 15 minutes. Now this one's going to rest longer than that because I got supper ready a little earlier tonight before Sharon gets home. So we'll wait till she gets home and tears into it. Now one thing I did do that I didn't mention, I preheated the oven to 425. Then after I got this in there and let it in there for about 15 minutes, I turned the oven down to 400 and it cooked for an hour and a half. But I don't think it needed an hour and a half. It's still, when I poked the thermometer in there, juice shot out. But it's up there around 190, so it probably may have got done in an hour. That chicken ain't as big as bought chickens. Like I said, this is like a 4, and it's not over 4.5. Out of my 5 chickens, the smallest one was 3 pounds. I think it was 12 ounces, and the biggest one was 4 pounds and 5 ounces or something like that. So it's around a 4-pound chicken. But to me, that's what you call American breast at its best. And we'll wait on Sharon to get in. We got our corn ready. Potatoes, chicken, and I got my rolls to throw in the oven when I know she's on the way home. Now while we're waiting on Sharon to get home, we'll go on and blend up our dehydrated eggs. I've never done this before, so I done 8 eggs in the dehydrator. We're going to blend them into egg powder, and then me and Sharon's going to test them one day and see what we think. They say egg powder, dehydrated egg powder, is very good for baking. You always have it on hand. I know I like dehydrated stuff. So we're going to powder it up here. So 8 chicken eggs, dehydrated. Actually turned out more powder than I thought it was going to be. If we like this, I'm going to start doing them duck eggs for this. Now I'm going to just put this in a jar. seal her up. Now I'm gonna go on and put these in a pint jar because I got a feeling we're gonna be doing some more. Because this stuff is like this is too convenient to cook with. Now normally I wouldn't seal this at this time. I would just put a lid on it and shake it for a few days to make sure I don't see no moisture in there. But I'm gonna show y'all after a few days how I seal stuff. And I got this. These are these sealers that's made for food saver vacuum seals. I didn't have a food saver, but I seen a lady that I like watching and learning about this dehydrating stuff use a brake bleeder pump. You just put it on there and go to pumping. And if you see, once I started pumping air out of the jar, the needle started coming up. Trying to hold it where y'all can see it, but I can't pump it and hold the needle. I pump it up there to about 20 pounds. It ain't sealing yet. You see the needle still falling? Alright, now it's holding on 15 pounds. But I will tell you, the wide mouth one works better than this regular mouth food saver deal. Every one I done with a wide mouth sealed on the first time, but that ain't sealed. You can see. But I'm gonna break the seal because I ain't gonna seal it until I sit it here a couple of days and shake it, make sure ain't no moisture in there. Well guys, I'm giving up on my wife. She called and said she was doing something else after work. So, I'm finna fix me a plate. And I've already nibbled on some of these potatoes and carrots. And man, I don't know how good the chicken is, but the potatoes and carrots is awesome. Let's get over here and see how the chicken turned out. I'm gonna just take me one of these quarters right here off. Look how moist that is, guys. You ain't gonna get no rotisserie chicken this moist from the stove. If I can get through that joint right there. You would think as much chicken I eat, I'd have it down pat where them joints is at. Get us a little of this cream style corn. And one of these rolls. And my good old ginger lemon tea. Guys, I've been on the phone with the AC man for the last hour trying to diagnose my AC over the phone, but I guess the lightning got it last night. I hope it didn't get nothing too terribly bad. But if you like rotisserie chicken and you ain't never cooked a chicken the way I just done this, see how that skin comes up? It's like if it was almost fried. And the chicken comes out so juicy. You would think with everything I put on there this would be overpowering, but it's not. It's not at all. So I'm finna sit here and enjoy my supper alone tonight. She had to eat by herself when she comes home. She's very late. I'll be in the bed. But as always, Hope y'all enjoy this video. Hope y'all have a great day. God bless. See y'all next time.